Hi, friends. I am out here in my garden trying to find a quiet place to talk about something that I read that kind of disturbed me. It's not like gory or anything, but I was reading an article about victory gardens. Everyone's talking about victory gardens right now because people are comparing this situation to war and how during the last World War, people planted gardens because the government was like, okay, we need to send all our available food overseas and we need to have people growing their own food so that we have more food available for everyone. Victory gardens were a huge propaganda tool, and people posted pictures of their huge crops and their victory gardens, and everyone was gardening. And there are estimates that 40% of the food that stateside Americans were eating was coming from our gardens. So people are comparing this time to that time, and a lot of people are gardening. Seeds are sold out. Seed companies have like a 2 week long wait list for shipping their seeds. Everyone wants to learn how to build raised beds, and that is so awesome. Like, it's astounding. It's so cool. People want to make their own food and grow their own food, but so many of us are first time gardeners. And in this article I was reading about victory gardens, I read that once the war was over, most people did not continue gardening. They didn't plant their garden the second year. And it wasn't until the Second World War came around that people started planting their gardens again because it was a necessity. And the reason, my understanding, is that gardening is hard. It's a lot of work, and you have to be out there every day. It's a new habit. You have to check on your plants. Most of your stuff dies. You don't know why it dies. Pests eat your crops. Pests eat your seedlings. From one day to the next, things disappear. There's skunks and possums and all sorts of things that you have to deal with, not to mention fungal diseases and bacterial diseases and too much rain and not enough rain. And it's hard. And even after all that, you may only get like one little thing off of your plant. It feels like it's not worth it. I kind of want to ring a warning bell like, hey, this is hard, but it is worth it. A lot of gardeners that I follow and get inspiration from, they say, the first year you harvest wisdom. And that may not be what you want to hear right now. Like, maybe you don't want to harvest wisdom. Maybe you want to harvest food. Like, I want my strawberries, I want my vegetables, I want food because I'm scared and I don't know where my food's coming from, and I want to be in control of that. But I think if we have that expectation that the first year is going to be really hard, but we're going to learn so much. And also keep in mind that gardeners are so generous. They're like some of the most generous people I've ever met. And that's because nature is generous, and nature is the gardener's teacher. And we learn so much from nature, and so naturally gardeners are really generous. They're generous with their time, they're generous with their seeds, they're generous with their harvest, they're generous with their knowledge. So rely on that. Call upon the generosity of others. Call upon the gardeners in your neighborhood, in your family, online, and really ask for help and know that you will be provided for. Whether it's from your own garden or the farmers in this country that are working their butts off to get food on your table, you will be provided for. We're going to figure out how to feed everyone. And don't give up on your garden if it's hard this year. Plant again next year. You're going to be so much more successful. Even if you have the most successful garden this year, your first year, next year, it's going to be even more bountiful and more successful. You can only go up. You can only get more wisdom and harvest from your garden. So just wanted to, give a word of caution for those of you who are starting your gardens that it's going to be hard, but you're going to grow, and it's going to be soothing and challenging and stress relieving and a little stressful, but it's going to help you, and you should do it. But you should also commit now to doing it again next year. Even when we're out of isolation, when the vaccine exists, when it comes, when we're all vaccinated, still we should grow our food. We should learn how the land works and be in touch with how that works. So don't give up. and commit now to not giving up. Know that you're not going to give up today.